What's up, everybody? It's your 5-star realtor Joshua Ingram, partnered with Page Properties team, brokered by EXP. We're on another episode of the brand new podcast called the Dream Builders Podcast.
Live from Vegas.
Live from Las Vegas.
Live from Las Vegas.
EXP Con 2023. We have a special guest, Steve Mathews. He's actually an EXP agent in Las Vegas. How you doing, Steve?
I'm great, thanks.
That's awesome.
How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
And I cannot forget the man of the hour, my co-host Bradford Page with Page Properties team.
Joshua, good morning.
Good morning. Hey, man, I'm excited. So, Mr. Steve, how is your experience in Las Vegas now?
Well, let me jump in here.
Okay.
So Steve's going to win a lot of awards this year in his business.
For sure.
He's not going to win one for the furthest travel to EXP.
You know,
it took me 10 minutes to get here. I just was such a travel, and that was in traffic. So,
So you slept in your own bed tonight.
I did last night, and tonight I will too.
oh,
And some of the traffic we've run into here in Vegas, man, sometimes not so good. So, it can take you an hour.
yeah.
Well, the reality is when you live in Las Vegas, the truth is we try to stay away from the Strip as much as possible. We only come down when we have company come in that want to see the lights or the waters of the Bellagio. But we stay off the Strip as long as possible, and then we slip in at the last minute.
Gotcha.
And park. We got
time.
we take the back roads.
So when is a good time to get on the Strip? Because this is my first time.
Depends
ever.
on what you want to see. I mean, if you want to see everything, then any time is good.
Okay.
But usually the evening is best, of course, because of all the lights and there's just a special energy, of course.
So how long have you been in the Las Vegas area?
I got here in 1992.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you do real estate in 1992?
How old were you then?
I wasn't thought of. I was born in 1998.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so I've been selling real estate since 1978.
Wow.
So 45 years
Okay.
that we've been doing this.
Okay.
And I don't know if it means we're doing something right or we're doing something wrong because we're still in the business, right?
I'm
Yeah.
just trying to do the math in my head, so you must have been about 15 or 16 when you started.
Yeah, okay, let's go with that. Let's go with that.
Well, whatever you're carrying the age good. So.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I will tell you, speaking of Las Vegas, when I got here in 1992, there were 750,000 people in Las Vegas. By 2002, just 10 years later, there were 2.1 million people living here, which means that, we tripled in size in a 10-year span, if you can imagine that. And it also means that 2/3 of all the homes in Las Vegas were built after 1992. So from that standpoint, architecturally, we're actually pretty young.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everybody's moving from California.
California down here, yeah. Every day, like 400 people.
We have a lot of folks coming into Las Vegas from all over, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, Mr. Steve, I have a question.
Okay.
What are you expecting from this EXP Con? Like, what are you trying to learn or do differently this year?
Oh gosh, for me, it's the truth is that proximity is power.
Yeah.
So just being in proximity to some great people like yourselves, these guys are fantastic. Your energy is phenomenal.
For sure.
Just being around people like yourselves elevates my game. And sometimes it's a simple conversation. We get one little tidbit or an idea, but the breakouts have just been phenomenal. We had one last night that was kind of after hours that some of us went to, and they just, one person after the other just poured into us all the things that they were doing with AI.
Yeah.
And how they were manipulating, or I should say, how they were exploiting the AI to help build their business. And it's amazing the way that people are using it.
For sure. Are you using AI to run your business?
I am.
Wow.
I am. So
He's
one
not a
of
real person.
yeah, I'm an avatar. So
He's really 22 and just started.
That's right. Actually, I don't have my license yet, but it's No. One of the ways that I used AI is you might be familiar with MyLink, MyLead. And I'm very excited about MyLink,
very
MyLead.
new for you.
I call it the Zillow killer. And the reason why it's the Zillow killer is because when you think about Zillow, they take all of the MLS data from all over the United States.
Our data.
Our data.
Make it
They
theirs.
aggregate it, They spruce it up and do interesting posts and such. They attract the business that we should be attracting, and then they sell it back to us. One of the interesting statistics is that with Zillow, everybody who registers on their site, they make an average of $997 per person.
Oh, wow.
And so that's because when you register, they take your data and they sell it, and they sell it, and they sell it. So My Link, My Lead is particularly special because of the fact that we are able to do the very same thing. Like I said, we're the Zillow killer.
Yeah.
And because now we can take all of the data from all of the MLSs, we have no borders now. And we can aggregate that data ourselves. We can create interesting content. We can capture the information, and we don't sell it to anybody. So when someone comes on our site, they know that it's pure. The relationship is going to be good because we're not, selling the data to anybody else, and they're not going to get inundated with phone calls. And but they are able to look at properties anywhere in the United States. In fact, literally anywhere in the world that there's property that's on the market.
Thank you, Glenn Sanford.
For sure. For sure. Because
he's got EXP on the cutting edge of about everything. And sometimes we're so cutting edge that we kind of fumble a little bit, but he's not afraid to get out there and do it. And the stuff he brings in, the team that he's brought into this organization is amazing.
Glenn's background is technology, and he's a techno nerd. And self-abashedly, he'll tell you that. But what it means is that he is always looking way down the field for what's the next thing. Sure. He's the Wayne Gretzky of real estate. Wayne Gretzky said, where everybody's going where the puck is. I go where the puck is going to be, right? That's Glenn Sanford. And so all of the tools, the great things that are in the future are right here at EXP.
For sure.
In fact, we're making the future today, like with My Link, My Lead, and there are a couple other announcements that they're making.
We see something every day.
Every day.
The new stuff in the market platform, just everything's always kind of growing and super exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
For sure. And I mean, for me as like a new agent, like at first it was so much information, so much with the coaching, the different softwares, but once you really get dialed in and just focus on a few and make those the tools that you can use easy access, like RPR, I think is better than MLS, because they give real estimated values of the property, and you can actually do a CMA to compare your valuation to theirs. Yeah.
Well, so my working axiom has always been the best decision is a well-informed decision. That means that you need to take whatever time is necessary when you're working with a buyer or a seller to help them collect the best and most well-informed information so that they can make the best, most well-informed decision.
That's true.
So that's where RPR and some of these other tools are particularly good. In this fast pace, people really are data driven. They want to know that they're making the right decision, especially in a market like this.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So I have a question, maybe the last question of the evening. But my question is, how do you see the market today? Because, you've been in the game for 45 years, and, you're in Las Vegas, so people in the area may know you by name. So how do you see the market today?
Well, I'll tell you, I've been through a lot of markets. You can imagine in 45 years, the natural cycle of real estate that happens. I've been through those. I've been through some great rises,
good, the bad, the
and
ugly.
I've been through some real ugly depressions. One of the things that I've learned over time is that there is, even when you think that in your market that whatever's happening is not going to affect you, it is going to affect you. But I will tell you that this is a very unique market that we're in today because of the supply and demand. COVID just really changed everything because the millennials that were living at home decided that they wanted to purchase real estate, and that just created an exorbitant demand. and the fact that people were able to move across country and they found that they could work from home, just changed things.
It changed the game
immensely. And so what it did was, because of COVID, builders had been cutting back, and the supply was down, but the demand is up. Now interest rates are up. That has an effect. A lot of people think it makes people not want to buy, but the reality is that people still want to buy. The demand is still there. But what it means is their buying power is decreased. Where they might have been able to buy something for $500,000, now they're having to pay $450 for some, or get something smaller. And that's what's happening.
I hear are starting to make some adjustments accordingly. They always tend to run 6 months or a year behind what's going on. Love you builders out there, we appreciate you, but and I understand being cautious, but they've always been building the bigger, and now I'm understanding that recently they're starting that trend. Maybe are you seeing that in Vegas at all?
We're seeing a lot more of multi-gen type homes.
Okay.
For one thing.
Smart.
Yeah. Seeing a lot more multi-gen. We haven't, in Las Vegas, we haven't caught up with this idea about accessory buildings, allowing, like in California, they allow you to build an accessory home or accessory property on your land.
Either like an in-law or a rental.
Yes, mother-in-law or father-in-law, whatever, property, or an accessory property where you have it as an Airbnb or something. But we haven't quite caught on to that yet. But the reality is, in Las Vegas, our lots are we're postage stamp lots. Now they're 50-foot wide and 100 feet deep.
Is that true even outside of Vegas?
Generally speaking,
I know
as you move,
growing a lot.
Yeah, well, Las Vegas built from the inside out, and so all of the new construction is happening, generally speaking, in the along the perimeter. We do have a little bit of infill here and there, but that's really rare now. So
that's awesome.
But in answer to your question, where do I see the market? Well, one of the things that we tell our clients is date the rate and marry the house, because a lot of folks are sitting on the sidelines waiting for the rates to come down. But the reality is, because of our low supply and high demand, when the rates come down, that means that more people are going to come into the market. Well, that increases demand, which means the prices are going to go up. Prices are not going to come down this time, and that's because the demand
rents are not going to come down.
No, they're not. We've seen a little bit of adjustment with rental prices.
So softening the increase, but not necessarily coming back.
Yes, that's exactly right. But what we really see is that people should buy their home now at whatever the interest rate is. We fully expect that interest rates are going to drop in the next year and a half to two, and so in the next year and a half or 2 years, you can refinance. A lot of the lenders we work with now are giving special arrangements where if you will do your loan with them now, when you refinance a year and a half or 2 years from now, they won't charge you a fee. So you get the benefit of being in the home now at this price, and then when the prices start to move again, but the rates come down, you'll be able to lock in a lower rate.
And when the demand's up, if you've owned that house for 6 months or a year, then of course the value of that house is going up. And the rent value of that house. So everything is. We were at a private event last night. I'm sorry to cut you up, but I think it's important. We were at a private event last night and get in this room with these people who are a lot smarter than we are. That's always good to be the one in there learning. And they talked about who this market's good for. And I think this market is great. Obviously, it's great for cash buyers. That's cash to buy. But they said the biggest, and I think it's great for agents who are with people who can help them go through this market, because if you survive this market, like I survived and thrived in 06, 07, 08, when everything kind of went this way. If you can do and thrive in this market, you're going to be so far ahead when everything starts flying again. It becomes a little more simple.
Absolutely. So the other thing that I will say is that a lot of people are coming in with more down payment. They're capable, because of wherever they're coming from, they had a lot of equity. And so another financing tool that people should consider is to do an assumption. any federal loan, FHA, VA, FA, FMHA, and USDA, all those loans are fully assumable.
Yeah, and they might have a 3, 3.5.
3.5.
Yeah.
And so if there's two ways of getting there. First of all, if you've got the money to assume it, then you can do a straight assumption and get yourself down into a 3%, 2.8% loan, possibly. The other option is that perhaps the seller will do a carryback of a second. You can still assume the first. If you don't have the down payment, the seller carries back. We're also seeing what we call a wrap loan, where
We were talking about that as well. Yeah.
yeah, wraps are a really good thing, especially for a seller who doesn't know what to do with all of their equity. They want to redeploy the funds
Right.
and put it into savings. Well, there's nothing better than doing something like a wrap, where, as an example, let's say they purchase the property for $500,000. They put $100,000 down, but the underlying first is at $300,000. The seller can do a carryback on the second at, say, 6%, which is still under market,
Yeah.
and they can make 6% on the $100,000. But they also make, if they have a 3%, $300,000 loan, they make 3% on the underlying loan, which means that their overall return is going to be somewhere in the 9 to 12% range. You can't beat those.
So they've turned their property and whatever they're paying on it into income producing without having to manage the property. The owner's responsible for everything.
Absolutely, and they could do a balloon payment. So do it for 5 years and with a payoff. So that's a great option for someone who needs to sell. So the question that gets asked is this a good time to buy or a good time to sell? And the answer is yes.
So,
Yeah.
I was talking about cash buyers being in a good position.
Yeah.
Buyers, you're in a good position if you're working with agents like Steve.
For sure.
Who understand
Then it's
there's
the market,
other
yeah,
ways to
to-
do this and
yeah.
get you into a house.
It's important to be a little creative these days.
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. So my last question for you, Steve, is how can the people get in contact with you?
Well, what they can do is you can call me at 702-491-HOME. So that's 702-491-4663. Or you can reach me by email at steve.lv@outlook.com.
Awesome. Remember, the Dream Builders Podcast, our mission is to help buyers, sellers, and agents and small businesses connect with the resources and knowledge to achieve their goals. This podcast is sponsored by Page Properties Team, TheDream E.N.T, Real Estate for a Reason, and Make Real Estate Fun Again. Thank you so much, Steve, for coming out.
Yeah, it's
I
been
really
great.
enjoyed
Awesome.
this.
Great
Yeah.
And man,
information.
you
Great to visit
gave
with
us an insight that I really think people need to know in this market today. So thank you
If
for
you're ever out
coming out.
Savannah, Georgia, look us up.
Oh,
For
absolutely.
sure.
You're my guys. These are the guys. If you're looking at Savannah, Georgia, and I suspect in the outlying
Oh,
areas.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Anywhere coastal Georgia, South Carolina, a little bit in there.
For sure.
Very
For sure.
good.
Yes, sir. Well, I'll go ahead and catch
Great.
you on the next episode. Be blessed and peace.